You don't lose an empire overnight. It doesn't collapse in one dramatic moment or a single headline. It fades quietly. One update at a time. One frustrated user at a time. One market you thought you controlled, slowly slipping away. And right now, something is shifting in the global tech industry that Microsoft simply cannot ignore anymore. Because this isn't just another competitor trying to grab attention. This is Huawei, and they're playing a completely different game. Back in March 2025, something happened that didn't get much attention, but it could carry serious long-term consequences. Microsoft's Windows license agreement with Huawei expired. Normally, that's just routine. Agreements end, they get renewed, and business continues. But this time, it didn't. Because of US sanctions, renewal wasn't possible. Just like that, no extension, no workaround, no fallback. That moment forced Huawei into a position most companies would struggle to survive. No Windows, no Android backup, no reliance on American technology. For many companies, this would mean delays, uncertainty, or even exiting certain markets. But Huawei didn't slow down. They didn't hesitate. They accelerated. By May 2025, Huawei revealed something the industry wasn't fully expecting: a complete lineup of laptops running Harmony OS. Not a test. Not an experiment. Real products like the MateBook Pro and the MateBook Fold Ultimate. These weren't just laptops without Windows. They were devices that replaced it entirely with software built from the ground up. And this wasn't something rushed. Harmony OS had been under development for over 5 years, supported by more than 10,000 engineers. That level of effort doesn't create a backup plan. It creates independence. No borrowed systems. No shortcuts. Huawei wasn't just reacting, they were rebuilding their entire foundation. The timing wasn't accidental either. Huawei didn't step into this blindly. They already had massive scale. By October 2024, Harmony OS crossed 1 billion active devices. That's not just growth. That's an ecosystem. Phones, tablets, TVs, wearables, all connected. When a system reaches that level, it doesn't need permission to expand. It simply does. And here's where things get uncomfortable for Microsoft. Because this growth is happening in key markets. In China, the largest smartphone market in the world, Harmony OS overtook iOS in multiple quarters throughout 2024. Think about that. Apple, known for its ecosystem strength, was pushed into second place. And Huawei achieved this while being cut off from major global supply chains and software partnership. That's not luck. That's resilience under pressure. Now shift to PCs, because this is where things become critical. For decades, Windows has been the default. Businesses rely on it. Schools depend on it. Governments operate on it. That dominance has been stable for years. But dominance depends on access. And Huawei just removed that dependency for millions of users. In China alone, if Harmony OS captures even 30% of the PC market, that's around 80 million devices every year not using Windows, not paying for licenses, not tied into Microsoft's system. That's not a minor change. That's a major shift in control. And Huawei isn't stopping there. Their next targets are already clear. Southeast Asia, the Middle East, and Africa starting in 2026. These are fast-growing regions with massive populations and expanding digital economies. Countries like Indonesia, Vietnam, and the Philippines represent hundreds of millions of users. And here's the advantage. Many of those users already use Huawei devices. The hardware is already in their hands. All Huawei needs to do now is connect the ecosystem and keep users inside it. That's where the real power lies. At the same time, Microsoft is facing something unusual: resistance from its own users. Windows 11 introduced stricter requirements like TPM 2.0, cutting off millions of older but still working PCs. Users are being forced to upgrade hardware or risk losing support. In developed markets, that's frustrating. In emerging markets, it's a serious problem. Many users can't afford upgrades. Others simply don't want to replace working systems. And that creates a gap, and Huawei is stepping directly into that gap. Harmony OS is designed to work efficiently even on modest hardware. It doesn't demand expensive upgrades. It adapts to different devices, and that makes it extremely attractive in markets where cost matters more than brand loyalty. But the advantage goes beyond hardware. Harmony OS is deeply integrated across Huawei's ecosystem. Phones, laptops, tablets, they all work together seamlessly. File transfers are instant. Apps move across devices. Workflows feel smooth without relying heavily on cloud systems. For users, it feels natural, simple. But for Microsoft, this challenges one of its strongest advantages: ecosystem lock-in. Then comes AI, the next big battleground. Microsoft has pushed hard with Copilot, embedding it directly into Windows. It's powerful, but user reactions have been mixed. Some appreciate it. Others find it intrusive, something that interrupts rather than help. It can feel like an extra layer instead of a core feature. Huawei approached AI differently. In Harmony OS, AI is built into the system from the start. Powered by models like Pengu AI and DeepSeek, it works quietly in the background. It helps summarize documents, assist with writing, and improve search, but without forcing itself into every action. It's subtle, integrated, almost invisible, and that difference matters, because the future of AI isn't just about capability, it's about how naturally it fits into everyday use. Huawei is investing heavily to stay ahead. In 2024 alone, they spent 179.7 billion yuan, about 20% of their total revenue, on research and development. That's not small. That's a serious commitment to long-term leadership. So where does that leave Microsoft? Not collapsing, not failing, but definitely under pressure. Because the real threat isn't immediate replacement. It's fragmentation. Every region Huawei captures becomes a region Microsoft loses influence in. Every device running Harmony OS is one less device in Microsoft's ecosystem. And when that grows into tens of millions each year, it becomes significant. But the deeper shift is bigger than just companies competing. This is about systems, about ecosystems, about control. On one side, global standardization. On the other, technological independence. Governments are paying attention. Businesses are watching closely. Because relying entirely on one foreign software ecosystem is no longer seen as safe.